So I probably want to install them this way, with the fan blades going this way to blow into the radiator. And so you want to put the rubber parts along the edges of here. And here are the for the Cooler Master fans. Here are those rubber standoffs, I guess you can call them again. Again, they are adhesive on the back, so. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the camera and just turn it back on once I get this done. I'm trying to save battery life here. I'll continue with the audio. Now it's probably not as professional as some of the other ones, but again, as I just mentioned, I'm not a perfectionist. And also, as Cave Johnson once said, for those of you who know who Cave Johnson is, you'll get this immediately. When life gives you lemons, make lemonades. And no, not lemonade, but lemonades. Grenades made from lemons that burn your house down. Alright, I got the first fan on. I'm going to go ahead and do the second one here real quick. Then I will restart up the commentary. Okay, hopefully that stays. Alright, so you'll see in a second here. I have attached the fans now. Hopefully they're on the right side. If they're not, I'll have to flip them around. So, go ahead and unhook the cables here. Alright, so, flip this up. Now, we need a certain set of screws, which come with the Phantom case. Let's check the... wait, it's not on the floor. One of the other, or actually one of the standoffs we need. Well, that's not good. Alright. That's for later, though. So, they've got two different, you can see this, there are two different settings or methods for installing a cooler. You've got Plan A, which is what we're doing here, which is without the fans, and then Plan B, which is with these fans, the 200mm fans attached, which you would need the brackets for. And since we're doing Plan A, we don't need those brackets. So, but we do need screws B. And B is the 632 screw flats. .632 screws flat. Okay, so those are actually, what did I do with those then? Are these? Maybe it's these. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to take the entire radiator, fans and all, and it's going to go right up here, like so. Alright, so we got the fan on, or the fans on, and the radiator up there. As you can see, or we'll see in a second, there's plenty of room between the fans and the RAM in this configuration. You can see that there. Plenty of room, but in the if you're doing a push-pull configuration where you'd have the double layer of fans, it probably wouldn't work without changing something. And push and pull would be where you had a fan on top of the radiator and a fan on the bottom of the radiator that had it attached to the top of the case from below, or there are some that had the fans on top of the case with the radiator hooked up like this. But there's a gap between them, but they've been able to make it work like that too. So now I've got all this done. We can hook up the actual cold plate. So now, remember those small standoffs I showed you earlier? What's going to happen is that you're going to set these into these socket holes like this. You're just going to set them in there. And there should be one more. There you are. You want to do the small ends into the socket holes? Now and only now should you be taking off the covering on the cold plate. From now on, do not touch anything on the surface there, like with your finger or anything. And what you want to do now is you want to line up these. Okay, good. Line up the yeah, that's what I thought would happen. Okay, let's see. Let's rethink this for a second. Okay, now these do screw into the Alright, make sure that you screw these pegs into the sockets first. I don't think they did screw in, but they do. That would help a lot, immensely. Because then they won't fly all over the place like they just did. It's usually how it goes though, the first time working on a socket. It's just trial and error, figuring out what to do, what you're doing wrong, and going from there. So, now that those are all touched down, I'm going to bring this down and place it on top of those pegs. I'm going to make sure you get them all on. Alright. There we go. And there. It's kind of hard to get on there, actually. Doesn't want to fit exactly. Alright. There. So, now that you got that sort of on there, what you want to do is take these thumb screws, and you want to go in a crisscross fashion, meaning you want to do one side, then another side. So like you want to start with the far edge here, for example. Then you do this side over here. And don't screw them down all the way yet. Just enough to kind of get it threaded. Again, make sure you touch metal before you turn to anything in the case. Alright, and finally, on the far edge. Now you want to go through on that in that same order and tighten them down with a screwdriver. Alright, the camera's dead, but you get the idea. Just go through and make sure that you do it in a methodical fashion and that you tighten it down really well, so that you're sure that you have a good seal with the CPU. So basically this is what's going to be cooling down your processor as it's running. I'm going to go ahead and put the build on hold for tonight. We'll finish it up tomorrow, and we'll also have the operating system tomorrow, so that we can finish this. This is GOL, and we'll see you later. Hi everyone, it's GOL from Productions². Back for day 2 of the build. And while camera was charging, everything was down, I went ahead and did a few things to get ready. Namely was to hook up the fans to the cold plate, the fans that we used to replace the Corsair fans, and also threaded some cables around for the front panel IOs, as well as some other cable management stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you that right now. So you can see we're kind of got a little bit of a mess going on here. For the time being anyway. Windows 7 just arrived. Get that real quick. I got the system builder just OEM pack. Sorry, no code for you. Let's see. that'll be a little bit later in the video here. First of all, I want to go ahead and get the Q connectors. I'll go ahead and open these if I can find my utility knife here. And basically what you're going to be looking at is these white connector areas down here. That's where these are going to be going to. And they're going to be hooking onto, where are they? Here are these. To all these things for the front panel. These Q connectors are pretty awesome. They had them on the Maximus too, which is my old motherboard as well. And they're really nifty. Because it's not always easy getting the cables onto those smaller connections down there. So you can see they're all labeled on both sides. This one I think is for USB. So basically you just line up the pin arrangement with this. Actually, first you should probably attach the other cables. Just makes it easier that way. So, it becomes a matching game, really. So, reset. It's these two. Power switch. These two. Let's see now. P LED negative. Yeah, this one should be positive. Positive P LED negative, or whatever. Not sure what those are for. Obviously some sort of LED on the front of the case, but I don't know exactly what they're referring to. What's this one? The HDD light, which is this one here. And then if you're going to speaker, I guess we could do that too. I think this is the speaker here. Or maybe not. Let's see. Looking for an audio port on this board. I think that's it there. So I guess this would be for the case speaker then, which I'm not going to attach. This goes over here somewhere else, and I'll show you that in a bit. Then what you do is you take this, line up the holes, and plug away. Easy as that. And you're done with that part. Let's see, this is USB 3.0. That goes in the green section I showed you earlier yesterday. And we're reviewing the board. Kind of show you it right now. It's this green one right here, you can't really see it, but right there. That's for the front case USB 3 port. Okay. Next will be I think there's a USB 2.0 slot as well. That'd be find it here. Massive cables. Well, there should be a USB somewhere around here for 2.0. Because there's a 2.0 port on the front of the case. Oh wait, here, there it is. This is it, I bet. Alright, yeah, so you just attach this. And then attach that into the port. And one of these ones right here. As you can see, they also have a ton of these. So there's enough for any PCI, what are these? Expansion slot based ones. In case you need more. That just goes right down in there. Like that. And you're done setting up the front of the front case I/O panel. Well, at least on a normal one. This one you also have to do the fans, but we'll get to that later. This is PCIe. Let's see, speaker. Oh, HD audio. Now, if you can see, right there, that one right there, kind of in the middle of the frame right now. This one. Last one on the end of this string here. That's going to be our HD audio port. That's where this connector is going to go to for the microphone and headphone jack on the front of the case. No Q connector for this, so you just gotta line it up and go. Still fairly straightforward though. Alright, so that does it for the input outputs for the front of the case. What else do we have to do besides the video card? For this setup, I'm actually going to put the video card on this PCI slot here instead of this one. If you put it on this one, the double wide's going to block this fan here. Let's go ahead and grab the video card wherever it's at. Where did I put it at? Back here. Alright. Just kind of clean up some of this stuff. Touch the case somewhere. Always touch the case. That should be the first thing you ever do before you touch anything electrical. I think I mentioned that a couple times now, but just for posterity, I'm gonna mention it again. First, though, I guess we gotta uncover the correct PCI expansion slots. As I mentioned before, these have thumb screw things here. So we want to do, I think it's this one and this one. The next to last two, going from the right, if you're looking at the case from the other side. Also has these, if you can see them here, slots. So you can stick the screwdriver down in there. Pretty helpful. So, let's screw away, or unscrew away, rather. Those are the expansion slot back plates. Put the screws up here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get to installing the card now. Touch the case. So, since this has a double wide backplate here, you're going to want to install it with two slots uncovered. And it's PCI Express, so gotta make sure you put it in the right slot for that. It will automatically clip into the slots, or the slot itself, so you don't really need to worry about there we go. Just need to make sure that you seat it though. It's kind of wobbly. Maybe that's to be expected though. I guess it's properly seated. So now we just reattach these. And I realized with this setup that, well, there's not really that much room between the PSU and the card. I'd rather have more room. Then we're blowing hot air into the chipset fan there. It's kind of a trade-off. Inequalities, if you will, to figure out which part needs the air more than the other. I'm going to have to say it's going to have to be the GPU, so let's go ahead and deattach it here, deseat it, remove it, put it in the other slots, or the other slot. First I'm going to put the back plates back on. I think I mentioned earlier that while this isn't a toolless setup, it is, for at least these expansion bays, it is a lot easier to work with than some of the toolless setups I've had to use, especially my last case. The setup on my last case was really bad. Clips are hard to manage with, and so we're going to want to have, I think it's going to be the second and third ports from the left, as you're looking at it this way now. I think. Yeah. Of course, that USB cable's kind of in the way now. So move that up here a bit. So let's go ahead and unhook those covers here. Alright, so there's one interesting bit about this heating solution. Is that I don't really want to push down on it too hard. This feels like it may break or something. This plastic has a little bit of ply to it. I guess this is how the cards are. I don't remember if mine was that movable in my other case, but it might have been. So now you just reapply the thumb screws to bolt it into place. And screw them down, and you're good to go. Alright, as I mentioned before, the 7970 takes the 8 and 6 pin, which I've already put through the cable management stuff here earlier on. So, I'm going to attempt to get the proper amount of length I need here. There's cables underneath there. Alright, so, God. Alright. So, it is this way. That gives me a little extra room to work with. Alright. Snaps right down on. Here's the other PCIe cable. It's a bit longer, so easier to work with. It also goes in with the clip facing towards the cooling solution. There we go. Now, what's next is the question, and that is a good question. We've got the processor, cooling, got some of the fans in, the PSU, RAM, and video card. So I guess all that's left is the drives, and also the other fan stuff. Oh, and before I forget, up here at the top, this knot of cables here, I actually have a Molex going up to here that connects to both the power for this, the Corsair pump, and also to the fan controller on the top of the case. Also, something to note is that the Corsair requires both the 3-pin connector, you can see it right here, to be plugged in along with the Molex connector, which is in there somewhere. Just a little note, because sometimes you're not required to plug anything into the CPU fan port for these. I'm going to go ahead and flip the case over here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video for a second while I get the slide. You can never go wrong with a little extra light. I'm going to move the GPU case out of the way here for a second. SSD drive, optical, this there. Got all the other drives behind here. Okay. Trying to handle these hard drives gently, because really, if you think about it, they're probably worth quite a bit of money. Not in literal terms, but in figurative or in relatable terms. Just because of all the work I put into a lot of the stuff that's on those drives. Just talking to myself the other day how if these drives were to fail for some reason during this upgrade, I'd be royally screwed. Anyway, let's go ahead and flip this case over now. Turn the camera back on. Should reorient it here. Where is that? There it is. It should be about right. So, flip this over. And you can see some of the work I've already done in the back here. Not that much, to be honest, but I've still gotten things kind of ready. Pull this stuff back out. Okay. So, SATA stuff. Fan controller, put that over that way. Alright, so, first thing I'm going to do is show you how these SSD drives fit into here. Probably going to need this screwdriver. So I'm going to need the SATA drive. And probably the SATA drive screws as well for this, so let's see. Water cooler, HDD, which ones were they? There we go, so part A, which was the M3 screws. That's 632. Thumb screw 3M, or M3. HDD tray installation. 632s. KB510. Those aren't them either. 632. Well, I'm running out of bags. Oh, here we go, M5, or M3 flats. Just making sure there's no M3 flat anywhere else. Nope. Alright. So, alright, here's again the hard drive trays. Reorient here. And you're gonna want to put the power and data sides to the back like this. You also want to remove the little clasps here. So I showed you yesterday, just slide them to the opposite side before they're positioned, and they come right out. You can also remove the little rivets from these rubber sections if you wanted to. So they do come out. Now, what you do is place the hard drive in here, line up the screw holes like so. Then you take those M3 screws, these little tiny things here, and put them into place. Like so. Again, don't screw it down all the way, just enough to get the hard drive attached. So you can still line up the other holes. Once you get all the screws in, you can go ahead and tighten them down. Alright, and there's the mounted SSD drive. I'm actually going to put this one on the bottom of the whole tray structure. Since cold air sinks, most of the cold air should be on the bottom, so if this has a higher, this creates more heat, should be better. I've got my all my old SATA drives here, or not old, but previous generation. These are all 3 Gbps, I think. I'm pretty sure they are, actually. And so you won't need to use the white tipped cables for these. You will need to use this for 6 gig drives, but not 3. 3 you can use the other supplied black connector cables. But for the normal drives, they go in here like this, and these little pins will connect into there. So this is kind of toolless as well, as far as not needing any just like that. Then you just place these back in, or rather maybe you push them out when you put that drive in. These things are slightly annoying now. Alright, so I'm thinking is you just push them out when you put the drive in. Because you gotta put it in the correct direction too. That always helps. Well, I'm not really sure how that works, so I'm just gonna turn off the video real quick so I can work on this. Trying to save the battery this time around a bit better than I was before. So, how does this work then? Do we just push it in? Slide it through. Well, if you really want to, what I'm going to do is you can actually just use the screws that come with this for the HDD installation. I'm not going to screw around with these things anymore. I'd rather go with screws anyway. So I'm going to grab those for a second. These are 632s. HDD. Yeah, the 632s. So that'll be these. So I've got 3 drives. I got 2 on each side. Got enough for 1 left over. Alright. Again, just make sure you have the data and power ports facing the opposite side of the retention clips. Line the holes up, and we're good to go. Show the middle ones will be better. Well, maybe it wasn't those bigger ones. It was the smaller ones. Let's see. Actually, there's an entire bag for just HDD installation. HDD tray installation. 2, 4, 6 with 1 left over. So I don't know if these are the correct ones or not, so we're going to find out. These other ones were too long. So don't use those longer screws I showed you if you're using the Phantom case. Okay, now yeah, these are much better. They would be if they weren't. Man. So the trick is you don't want to tighten those all the way down. Just enough so it sits inside of the socket here and can't move forward or backward. It's kind of a little trick, I guess, with these drives, drive rails. Alright, it's firmly in place. That one's good to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the other ones right now, and I'll restart the video in a second. Okay, I've got another. Well, actually, we need 2 more. Alright. Touchy disk store. One TB. That's close. Skewered my foot. Alright. Where's my utility knife at? Make sure I keep track of this shit. Can I unload anything? Interesting. Oh, here it is. Okay, good. Move all this stuff out of the way. I'm just going to move all this stuff out of the way real quick here. Then we'll flip the case around. See how these are. Actually, we'll leave them as they are, I guess. As the case as it is. I'll rotate it a bit more. Let's get a better look at it. Alright, there we go. Okay, on with the camera. So you can kind of see the back of the case here. A little more stabilized there. So right here, this is the drive bay that we're going to be working on. All I need to do with these is just take them, slide them in. Literally just like that. 1 TB on the top. Turn around so it's the correct direction. Slide it in, and then it goes. Alright, Hitachi. And Seagate. And that's that. It's as easy as just doing that. So, now I've got the SATA cable here, or one of them. These are our power for the SATAs. So what we're just going to do is hook these in. Alright, and then I need another, let's see if I have another SATA. I have a, let's see, that's for something else, it's for the CD-ROM drive. I need another SATA cable. Let's see. I'll put the microphone headphones on for a second. Alright, I'm actually going to switch out that SATA cable for this one. Aha. 3-plug power connector. Uses the 5-pin on the power supply. Went upstairs and found box of all my old components for both this power supply and also the liquid cooler I have in the old computer. I'll get more into what all that stuff is later though. This goes into the 5 slots, so let's replace that one we just removed.